Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sunday market stream. Today is February the 7th, 2021. Today I'll be looking at SPX and where it's going next week, my targets to the upside and to the downside. I'll be looking at Square, which is nearing all-time highs, along with Roku. I'll be looking at Tesla and Apple, along with Zoom. I'll be looking at some secondary names on our watch list. That includes PINS, Snap, DKNG, PENN, CHWY, MRNA, and CGC, with the marijuana sector rising recently on legalization and Biden's news. Okay, let's get into it right now. I have SPX on the 4-hour chart. And as you guys can see here, we did make all-time highs on Friday, hitting just under 3,900 psychological resistance. Very strong move. I definitely see 3,900 breaking this week. So that would be my first point of confirmation, to see that psychological resistance break at 3,900. Targets to the upside, I have 3,920, 3,930, and 3,950. Stocks do tend to move in round numbers, especially with the SPX index. So those are my targets to the upside. If we were to come down, I do see us having support at that 38.80 to 38.65 mark. As you can see here, we were rejected at 38.65 and we pushed down all the way to 3,700 before breaking it last week. So 38.65 is a level of support that I'm looking at. 38.80 was also another area of support on the lower time frames that held twice on Friday and on Thursday. So I'm looking at that for a short-term pullback. If we do break these two support areas, I am looking at that 38.50 to 38.30 mark, which we do have some price action here. And it was a source of resistance here as we tried to push back up, but got rejected and essentially dropping down to 3,700. Okay, so that is SPX on the 4-hour time frame and my outlook going into next week. Before we get into the watch list, guys, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, comment, like, and also don't forget to head over to thewealthymentor.net and check out our Discord group. We offer amazing options trading group where we give market analysis every single day, updated watch list along with swing trading watch lists, which I'll be discussing today in this stream. We also give Benzinga Live Squawk, which gives you live up-to-date market analysis and breaking news. I give you entries and exits and take profit areas on my options trades. And it's a great community to get into, especially if you're day trading or options trading, or if you just want to learn and brush up on your education. Okay, so head over to thewealthymentor.net and check out our Discord group. We offer monthly, 6-month, and yearly memberships at affordable prices. All right. So with that being said, I am going to head into the first name that I'm going to be looking at today and heading into next week, and that is Square, which is SQ ticker. So here we are on the 4-hour time frame. As you guys can see, we are at 240 resistance. I am going to zoom out here to show you that we do have all-time highs here at 247, right? So we hit a double top scenario here, once here, two here at that 247 mark, and here we are the third time trying to break through. As you guys know, the more you hit resistance levels, the weaker that they get. So essentially, this is the first, second, and third time we could be hitting it next week. If we do hit it this week at 247, I do see take profit areas at 250, 255, 260, and 265 as essential take profit areas. My go-to entry and a safer entry for me, if I was trading this, would be that 250 mark, just to know that we did break that, all-time highs, and we did get over that psychological 250 round number resistance. So for me, my first confirmation would be that 250 area to break for a potential scalp to the 255, 260 area. Now to the downside, Hypothetically, say if we do hit 247 and get rejected like the previous times back on the 8th of January and December the 23rd, we do have support here at that 230 mark. As you guys can see here, there's a bunch of price action back in January, along with back in December 2020. So 230, 227, and 222 to the downside are my areas of support going into next week on Square. Okay, so that is Square on the 4-hour time frame, and we are at all-time highs or nearing all-time highs. So keep that in mind. The next name that is nearing all-time highs is ROKU, ROKU ticker symbol. As you guys can see here on the 4-hour time frame, this chart is extremely bullish. We did have all-time highs at 448, right? Pushed back down to 418, held there for a bit, tried to make another pump to reach all-time highs, got rejected and pushed down as low as 385. We've had a strong move from 385, and we did close on Friday at 440. Again, we are very close to all-time highs. This is the third attempt. 1, 2, 3. So going into Monday, I am looking at that 240, 245 mark to break. However, if you are a more conservative trader, I would look at that 450 mark for an entry, just because it is a round psychological number. And personally, I would like to see all-time highs break before an entry, because that would guarantee, well, that wouldn't guarantee me, but that would confirm to me that this isn't a triple top scenario, 1, 2, 3, and a rejection. A break of that would allow me to feel better that we are breaking towards all-time highs and above. So if we do break that 450 mark, 460, 464 are areas for take profit. So keep that in mind to the upside on Roku. To the downside, we do have support at that 430 mark. As you guys can see here on the 2nd of February right here, it was resistance before we broke out to 440. We also had resistance here at that mark on January the 22nd. So old resistance is now support. So I am expecting that 430 mark to hold. If we cannot hold 430, 420 and 410 are my second and third targets to the downside. Okay, so that is Roku heading into next week, another name nearing all-time highs. The next name I'm going to be looking at on the 4-hour chart is Tesla, TSLA. Tesla is in another tight range, and this time it's from that 880 mark all the way down to the 840 mark. We do have rejection here at 880, making it strong resistance. We hit it back on the 2nd of February, pushing back down as low as 840, wicking down here as buyers stepped in, holding that 840 support zone. As you can see here, we did consolidate on Friday. We did push higher, hitting that 860 mark before getting rejected and closing on market weakness at that 850 mark. So going into Monday, I am looking at 860 as my first level to break. This is my first confirmation. As a safer trader, I will definitely enter at the 870 mark for potential scalp at 880. I wouldn't take profits necessarily exactly at 880. I would like to see how the stock moves. I would like to see the market conditions and the volume for potentially to increase my positions at that 880 mark for potential to push to 890 and potentially 900 all-time highs. So to the support side, downside, I am looking for that 850 to hold. If 850 cannot hold, support here at 840, as I mentioned earlier. If 840 can't hold, we have 830 and 815 as potential stop areas on Tesla if we were to go down. I would definitely look at that 830 mark to break for potential shorts to the 815 mark. So keep that in mind. 880 is a key number to the upside. 830, 840 is a key number to the downside. And that is Tesla on the 4-hour time frame. We are in a tight pattern, so keep Tesla in mind heading into next week. Another name, which is also in a tight pattern, Apple, AAPL. Here we have Apple on the 4-hour time frame. As you guys can see here, that 138 to 140 mark is a level of resistance. We did trend slightly higher on Apple after hitting a bottom of 130. This was the push down on earnings, right? Holding 130, so that is a level of support that I'm looking at if we were to drop next week. To the upside, as I mentioned, 140 is a key level for me. If we do break 140, I am looking at a push to 144 and potentially all-time highs at 145. Okay, so that is Apple on the 4-hour time frame. Tight range on Apple, stuck between 138 and 134. A break below 134, I am looking at 130. A break below 138, 140, I am looking at 144, 146, 148 as potential take profits on Apple. Okay, so that is Apple on the 4-hour time frame heading into next week. Another name that has made a push again, it is Zoom. ZM is the ticker symbol. Here is Zoom on the 4-hour time frame. Zoom did trend lower. As you know, this is one of those stay-at-home stocks during the pandemic, which did profit significantly from people working from home and using their platform. We did drop down due to, stores opening, schools opening, not so much of a need for Zoom anymore. People sold off into the year, at the end of the year, and we did drop as low as 325. Here we are this week, making a push above 400 once again. So my targets above 425 is a key level for me. As you can see here, we did have 2 wicks over here getting rejected at that 425 mark, essentially pushing us as low as that 342 mark. So here we are testing it once more. So going into Monday, I am looking at that 425 mark to break as my first confirmation and potential entry above that for a scalp trade to the 435, 442, and 450 areas for potential take profit targets. To the downside, I am looking at that 400 psychological. As you can see here, we were rejected back on January the 15th, couldn't break it here. Again on the 20th of January, once more here on the 25th, and we finally broke it on Friday with a big candle, huge volume. As you guys can see here, volume confirmed that this was a real move, breaking over that $400 mark. So 400 is a level of support for me. If that were to break, 390 and 374 has had successful areas where it has held in the past. So that is Zoom on the 4-hour time frame and my outlook going into next week. Another name heading into next week, which is on our secondary watch list. This is more of swing trading names that we offer at Wealthy Mentor Trading on our Discord. So keep this in mind that this is a swing trading name. They are more volatile. They are also more news related. And it's also one of those names that did have earnings. So, and that is Pinterest. PINS is the ticker symbol. Here is Pinterest on the 4-hour time frame. I usually look at these on the 1-day time frame because they are swing trading names. But here it is on the 4-hour. Going into Monday, keep in mind we do have all-time highs here at the $88 mark. We did close at 81. We do have overhead resistance at 82. I would look to see if 82 would break as my first confirmation. My second confirmation would be the 86.50 mark for potential entry and to ride into all-time highs at 90. We also have take profit areas at 95 if all-time highs does break at 88 to $90 mark. Also 100 is an area where I'm looking at for potential take profits. Now to the downside, we do have $80 mark as support. As you guys can see here, this is on the 4-hour time frame, pushed back down, volume big bear volume right here, as you guys can see, confirmed, right? However, it did hold $80. So I am looking at $80 as big support. If that were to break, we do have 76, which was the breakout point right here. Beautiful candles, pretty much all green, heading into all-time highs. So that $76 mark has held pretty well here. It was resistance here, 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 and here. So old resistance, which turns to new support. So 80 and 76 are areas that I'm looking at, and 88 is all-time highs. Not too far, guys. So watch for this name heading into next week. Another name that did report last week and is at all-time highs, which is on our secondary watch list, is Snap. SNAP is the ticker. Snap also reported earnings the same day Pinterest did. And here we are on the 4-hour time frame. Big bull move here, supported by big volume here last week at all-time highs, $65. We did close Friday's session at the $63 mark, right? So we are at that $65 resistance. Above that, I am looking at $70 take profit target and 75 as my secondary take profit target. My first hurdle would be that $65 mark. I would like to see that break for us to confirm that we are above all-time highs and staying up there. Keep in mind, guys, once we do break that $65 mark, stocks tend to go up and retest that as support before finally pushing above it, okay? So 65 is a level of interest for me because it is at all-time highs, because it is resistance. However, also look for volume to confirm, as you guys can see here, big volume confirming this big strong move, right? So I would like to see something similar above the $65 area. Now to the downside, we do have support here also, which was resistance here back on the 3rd of February. So I am looking at that $60 mark to hold. If we do not hold that, we do have 54 and 50, as you can see here. On the 4th of February, we wicked down to the $50 mark and got bought back up before essentially creating all-time highs. So 54 and 50 are levels of support for me. Above 65 is all-time highs. Let it run, watch the volume, look at market conditions, and there you go. So that is Snap on the 4-hour time frame, nearing all-time highs. Another name, again, near all-time highs, DKNG, which is DraftKings, Super Bowl. A lot of bets going on. Keep that in mind. Stocks like this do tend to run. You know, there are billboards. They're on the commercials. You know, they're on TV. People are betting. They're at home. Names like this do tend to run. So looking at this chart right here, as you guys can see, $65 is all-time highs. I am looking at $65 to break, and also looking at confirmation that this is not just a double top. 65 could potentially go down, confirming a double top scenario, or this could be an area of a breakout zone. If 65 does break and it is a breakout zone, I am looking at $70 take profit, 75 as my second target, right, heading into next week. To the downside, I am going to zoom in here, right, and show you that we do have support at that $63 mark area, also $60 mark area. We did have an area where we got rejected a few times around $60 before finally breaking out, right? So I am looking at 63, $60, 58.5, and 55 as a key level of support for me. 55 especially, as you guys can see here, we did have a lot of price action. We are on the 4-hour time frame, so all these candles are pretty significant. So $55 is a level of interest for me if we were to push to the downside. To the upside, like I said, to negate that double top scenario, I am looking at a break above 65 for 70 and 75 potential take profit areas. And that is DKNG nearing all-time highs on the 4-hour time frame heading into next week. Okay, another name near all-time highs, PENN, P-E-N-N, PENN National Gaming. We are at all-time highs here, closing at 129. All-time highs we did reach on Friday, essentially hitting 131.5. My targets going into next week, I am looking at that 130 mark to break for potential hit at all-time highs. 130 would break, I would enter here, or a safer entry would be above 135 to confirm that this move is proceeding above all-time highs. Okay, so my entry would be 135. Potential take profits at 140, 145, and 150 are my targets on PENN. To the downside, we do have support here at that 124 to 120 mark. And we do have support, key support at 115 and major support at 111. As you guys can see here, this was the breakout point at 111, creating all-time highs. Okay, so that is PENN. To the downside, if we do break that 111 mark, I do see us going down to 107.5 and 100. So that is PENN to the upside and to the downside. We are at all-time highs. Keep that in mind. Another gaming stock, gambling stock. So keep that in mind going into next week. Very bullish on PENN. Another name nearing all-time highs that is on our secondary watch list is CHWY, CHWY is the ticker symbol here. As you guys can see here, CHWY is extremely bullish. We are on the 4-hour time frame. Let me zoom in here to give you guys a better outlook. Okay. We do have 115 as all-time highs. We did have a big bull move here, holding that $98 support area back on the 27th of January and the 2nd of February. We are pushing again, attempting to hit all-time highs. Again, guys, if this does break 116, 115 area, it negates the whole double top scenario. Essentially, you don't want this to happen. Come up here, hit here, and come back down. Very possible if we do have a scenario where we do hit 116 and we don't break it, I do have 110, 108, and 103 as key supports. Also, if we were to really drop down and retest these areas, at 98 would be a bigger level of support. Now to the upside, if we do break 116, which would be my entry, and my first confirmation for entry would be that 116, 115 area for potential take profits at 120, 124, and 128. Okay, that is CHWY on the 4-hour time frame. Very bullish. Again, look for a breakout above the 116 area. Okay, another name that is bullish and also reaching all-time highs, and that would be MRNA, Moderna. As you guys know, this is the vaccine that's being created right now. It's made by Moderna, one of them. Johnson & Johnson would be another one. As you guys can see here, this is one of those names that really depends on breaking news and stimulus news. So we did have all-time highs essentially back on December the 1st, which was the 178 mark, pushing as low as 110. A lot of people thought this stock was dead. You know, it is one of those momentum stocks. But we did have a strong week, essentially pushing all the way up to 218 before getting rejected. Bears pushing it down. Huge volume, as you can see here, right? Big buy volume followed by sell volume. Again, getting pushed back down to that 147 mark. We are here at that 175 mark, closing in on Friday. Above 178.50, I am looking at profit areas of 185, 186, and 190. Like I said, this is one of those momentum stocks. So heading into next week, if there's stimulus news, about vaccine getting out quicker, more dosages, less shortages. Watch for this stock to push up and essentially make all-time highs. Okay, we did close at 175. We have major support at that 163, 160, and 147 area. As you guys can see here, we did have a big buy volume here. Buyers stepped in, essentially pushing the stock up. However, there is no dice until we do break that 178 mark. As you guys can see here, we did not break it back on the 1st of February, essentially hitting that 147 area. This time around, we're testing it again. If we do break that, I am looking at that 186, 190 area for potential take profits. So keep that in mind. That's Moderna to the upside and to the downside. Okay. One last name that I'm going to be looking at, that not just this name, but the whole sector has been doing really well, and that's the marijuana sector. As you guys know, weed's going to be legal, heading with the whole Biden administration legalizing it in the States. So essentially, this is wave 2. It happened in Canada back in 2017, 2018, and it was a big bull run on the MJ sector. Similar is happening right now in the US. So one name that is nearing all-time highs that was also very popular in the Canadian sector is CGC. CGC is the American ticker symbol, right? Canopy growth. If you're looking for the Canadian symbol, it is called WEED, W-E-E-D. And here we have CGC. I am going to switch over to the 1 week time frame to give you guys a broader outlook. As you guys can see, we did have 60 all-time highs back on 2018, and here we are dropping as low as $9 during the pandemic, and a big bull move here, essentially at resistance at that $45 level. If we do have a strong week, I do see us pushing up to the $50 and $53 area, as we have rejection here back on 2019 of April. I am looking at a retest of that $53 area. Above that, I do see us hitting all-time highs, or at least touching all-time highs. Okay, that is CGC on the weekly time frame. Guys, keep this name in mind. Big time momentum, and when these things do push, they push high. There's a lot of short volume, short sellers along with this name. So this thing does run 10, 20, 30% in a day. Okay, so that is CGC to the upside. To the downside, I do see us having support at that $37 mark. We did have the breakdown candle here back on 2019 July, right? Essentially pushing us all the way down to the $9 mark. So 37, 32, and 30 are areas of support for me. It was the breakout point right here upon this consolidation back on November as well. So CGC is the American symbol. The Canadian one is WEED, W-E-E-D. All right, guys, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for coming in and joining our stock analysis week. We do these every single Sunday. We also provide these charts to our group members at the Wealthy Mentor, at Wealthy Mentor Trading. If you want to be a part of that, head over to the wealthymentor.net, sign up, become a member. You won't regret it. Also, make sure you join on our Instagram page. We give a lot of free information out there, always posting consistently in our snaps. So make sure you join, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Thank you so much. Big week coming up ahead. So keep those names in mind that are reaching all-time highs. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next week.